This is awful.
Shady sidewalks, shady sidewalks. I'm not sure if there's people in here or not. If there are, then I just hold tight. And we'll get started here pretty soon. I'm gonna wait for everyone to file in. Just now, just sent the links and stuff out. Shady sidewalks, shady sidewalks. Doo-doo-doo. Actually, is anybody in here? Just nod if you can hear me. Is it really one home? What's up, Dean? What's up, homie? I know, right? Ugh. Oh, I see. Oh, it's 5 people in here now. I can see that now. 5 people in here. These things don't really generate a lot of interest, it seems. Or else people's just at work. Oh, now there's 3. Oh, I know you're interested. You wouldn't be here otherwise. It's just, I'm wondering if it's even a decent Patreon perk at this point. Seems like every time I come in here, there's 2 to 5 people. So it's like, I don't know. I don't know if people just don't even want it or what. We'll get started here in 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes, we'll get started. Just getting everything set up real quick.
this started once Leeds took over.
I thought we were lifeguards.
Stupid movie to watch. Alright, let's get started here with this shit. So, here's what I'm editing right now. Chasing the unknown. So, this has just been something that I've been editing off and on for about, at this point, the last 4 months, just in my spare time, a little bit here and there. So it's getting close to completion. I'd say it's about 85% complete, maybe. So let me, I'm not going to play the whole thing all the way through, but I'll just give you a little bit of taste of what it's all about.
On this episode of Chasing the Unknown, the guys head to Roswell, New Mexico to try to dig further into the alleged UFO crash.
We're some idiots on YouTube. Can we come check out where the alien was stored? And they were just like, yeah, go ahead.
That's starting to sound ridiculous to me.
Super curious now, especially now that the key is most likely not on the premises.
Unless this base was run by a bunch of Gomer Piles, I think we have to take what they say seriously.
Roswell, New Mexico, home of the most infamous UFO legend to date, and mecca to UFO enthusiasts around the world.
I've heard about Roswell. I've grown up listening to stories about Roswell. I've seen sightings and unsolved mysteries. It's always been a place I'd always want to visit, and we actually got a chance to go there for the first time. The only problem is we didn't really see anything alien. We only saw like gift shops and stuff.
I guess you kind of have to know where to look because the entire town is touristy.
I don't know what any of that shit was. It's fucking bullshit.
Tourist trap. Everything is aliens down to even the McDonald's looks like a spaceship.
Right. And it's like that though because this is like the mecca of UFO investigations and travel destinations. This is world famous.
It's based around like aliens and UFOs and outer space, and everything is themed around that. It's a big gimmick, but I love that.
Dude looks like he's just been having a bad day. Fucking camera out of my face.
As the story goes, on July 1947, an alien craft crashed near a desert ranch right outside of Roswell. The Roswell Army Airfield had initially claimed they had recovered a flying disc, but quickly changed their story to a recovered weather balloon instead.
So the military was called out to investigate some strange debris in a ranch near Roswell.
So the closest base to the ranch was the Roswell Army Airfield, and when Brazel called out to that base, the first person on the site was Jesse Marcel, who was the head of intelligence for the entire base.
This is somebody who was well known with all the craft and all the experiments and stuff that were going on in the area. Jesse Marcel was not accustomed to the strange debris that he was seeing in the ground.
It's his job to know what this kind of stuff is. It's his job. He's trusted, and yet he's dumbfounded and stumped because he's seen things he's never seen before.
You have a colonel at the base. You have the head of intelligence. You have corroboration from pilots, all saying that they had seen something not from this earth. Unless this base was run by a bunch of Gomer Piles, I think we have to take what they say seriously.
Obviously something happened, and the government has come out with so many different stories that you start to think something happened. And also I saw that one special where they analyzed the telegram of the guy saying it was nothing, and they picked up other words on the telegram in that photo with enhancement and modern technology to show that maybe there was something.
We have a passion for this sort of thing, and we like to explore and see what we can find.
We're kind of your everyman, and we're just trying to find some answers.
Right.
We're going, trying to see if we can't uncover some information and dig deeper into some of these mysteries.
So where do we start?
Well, I mean, we're going to go start by trying to find a crash site.
Yeah, which is falling into the city and just kind of aimlessly wandering around asking people.
Just drive in. Actually, you know what? That worked.
Well, but okay, look.
Actually, that actually worked. There was people who gave us directions or told us a roundabout way of how to get where we were going.
And do you know where the alien crash site is?
It's a public road, public access road, very hard to get to. If he catches you on his private property, he will shoot first, ask questions later.
Everybody said this. He shoots first, asks questions later. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely not willing to have a buckshot in my ass.
I mean, there's worse places you could have it.
The great outdoors with the bear. The bear has a human butt.
That's funny.
I've never seen that. What are you talking about?
It's a John Candy movie.
So we were planning on going to the actual crash site, but apparently it's private property and you'll get shot.
One thing that I've always wanted to do was go to the crash site.
It kind of defeats the purpose of us being here, actually.
Not necessarily, because there are other things that we can look into while we're here. Well, like the hangar for one.
I like how he takes credit for my hangar find.
I'm just saying, like, there is that.
Yeah, there is the hangar. We can go to the hangar.
It's claimed that the debris and alien bodies were taken and temporarily stored at the Roswell Army Airfield in Hangar 84 before being shipped to Dayton, Ohio and Fort Worth, Texas.
What really gets me in all this is the retraction. The next day, the debris is flown out to Fort Worth, and the general who is in charge of the Army Airfield in Roswell happened to be in Fort Worth. So the debris is flown out to Fort Worth, and General Ramey looks over the material with his people, and it's told to the press that, hey, actually what we have here is a weather balloon.
Jesse Marcel claims that the famous photo of him holding the debris was switched, that stuff was balloon wreckage that they put in place of the actual spacecraft debris.
And what I find just completely absurd is the fact that it required a general in another state to identify something that should have been obvious to anybody in the position in which Colonel Blanchard and Jesse Marcel were in.
And Jesse Marcel's claim that the wreckage in the photo was actually switched has been backed up by Brigadier General Dubose.
For me, it's easier to believe that could happen or did happen than to disbelieve it. I mean, no one's more famous for trying to keep secrets in our government, right? It seems that way.
You know, we didn't get to see the crash site. We're standing out here in front of this hangar. Wow.
Looking at it from the outside.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, okay, wow.
At this point,
it's
it
here.
almost seems like desperation. We're trying to salvage this trip as best we can. But essentially, yeah, this is a bust. Billy, though, decides he's going to give him a call. Why, I don't know. I would have never done that.
Is there any chance at all we could maybe come in and just look at the inside of the hangar?
From my point of view, Billy calls the number that's on the sign, because now it's not an Air Force base anymore. Now it is a
it's a company that repairs airliners and different vehicles,
plane
and
parts
stuff.
and engine parts and things like that. Right. Billy calls it up, and I hear basically it was, hey, is this where they took the aliens when it crashed? Oh, okay. Can we come in and take a look around? All right, I'll meet you there. I'm like, what the hell just happened here?
Maybe come into the hangar and just take a look, because supposedly that's where the alien bodies from the crash at Roswell were taken. So we were just kind of curious to see what the inside of it looks like and stuff. And
They even told us, they said, you guys just caught the right person on the right day in the right mood.
okay, yeah, we'll get in right now and come around and try to find it. All right, thank you.
I'm super excited, super stoked, because if there was actually aliens in this hangar, I want to go see what's inside.
Well, yeah, and yeah, we get to stand where aliens were.
Well, I'm expecting at any moment they're going to say, wait a second, and change their mind, you know.
You know what? Maybe all the bosses were gone.
This is an undercover alien that we're talking to, realizes we know too much.
You finally found it, we're here, so now come on in.
UFOs, aliens is something I've always been fascinated my entire life. I used to watch UFO documentaries. Now, I know you guys have had a little bit more of a closer encounter than that, and I want to hear about it. You guys actually saw a flying saucer.
This was so, your cliched image of what a UFO would be is exactly what we saw.
Well, basically, we're trick-or-treating, and I think Tim was like, hey, what's that in the sky?
Mm-hmm.
And we look up.
I was about to say, shut up, Timothy. Because
Right.
he was always saying something dumb at the time. He was just a kid.
Always.
And I was mid-sentence, shut up, Tim, and I saw, and I was like, whoa. I was like, what is that? This thing was big enough and low enough to where, and it was nighttime, but the city lights kind of illuminated the sky a little bit. So this thing was silhouetted. So we saw the hard outline of this craft. And it was low enough to where we could see all the details. I'm trying to go through just my logical, okay, that's definitely not a blimp. That's definitely not a helicopter. That's definitely, there was no logical explanation for this. This thing literally looked like what you'd see in a cheesy sci-fi movie from the 50s.
A good way to describe it is basically if you take a Reese's peanut butter cup, turn it upside down, and then you put like what lights?
Rectangular lights around it that are rotating around the disc. This is where we saw the UFO. It was at night. I don't remember the exact time, probably 9 or 10 or so. We were walking down here, me and my brothers, and one of them said, hey, what's that in the sky? And look up, and you see it just kind of sailing across the sky, not too fast or anything. And we sat there and we watched the thing for maybe half a second to a minute or so.
In the middle of the road, there was a guy. It was Halloween, of course. He was dressed in a gorilla suit. And well, hang on. I know, right? But he's looking up. He's pointing up at it. I'm sure he had friends on the sidewalks or something. He was talking to them. So we weren't the only ones who saw it, and that's my point.
Well, not
we
only
weren't
that,
the only ones who saw
this was right over Arlington, Texas.
Right. It was close to.
This thing had to have been
Arlington
seen
High
by
School.
at least hundreds of people.
You would think.
You would think.
Again, the relevance of the guy in the gorilla suit in the middle of the street is somebody else besides us saw it.
The circumstances around the sighting itself just make it even more ludicrous to believe. So I don't, I don't blame people for just, saying we're liars or we're making it up or we're just idiots. You know what I mean?
I didn't tell anybody the next day, the next week, the next month. It was years before I told anybody outside of, us talking about it.
Okay, so you get the gist of it. It's about 1/3 of the way through. But it's fun little side projects. It's something different, After 5 years of editing the same thing over and over again, it's fun to do different projects.
We did that modification so we can.
I don't know why this thing took media off a drive it shouldn't have taken and then screwed up by putting wrong footage in there. I'm not even sure why I did that. If this stupid drive didn't go offline every fucking couple of hours, I wouldn't have that problem. There we go.
It's always been a place I'd always want to visit, and we actually got a chance to go there for the first time. Only problem is we didn't really see anything alien. We only saw like gift shops and stuff.
I guess you kind of have to know where.
Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense, huh? So this was quite a different way of doing things. I mean, you can see kind of like how it's a little bit influenced by Game Changers, but it's its own thing too. So we have a studio here, and well, the studio is actually in my garage. But it's a three camera shoot, and so I made a timeline with all the studio stuff in it. Well, timelines with all the studio stuff in it. Just it's about hours worth of footage, but I have it divided up amongst subject matter. And you see, like right here is the main shot, main 3 shot, and then when people are talking or whatever, I have these shots on top on different tracks to pop up accordingly.
Mysteries. It's always been a place I'd always want to visit, and we actually got a chance to go there for the first time. Only problem is we didn't.
And so I nest edited that, or I'm nest editing this, and what that basically means is, so I have a timeline with, and it has all those three layers of video in one timeline right here that I call the studio timeline. And instead of stacking all that stuff on the main episode and just making the timeline convoluted with so many different pieces of footage, I just take all the studio stuff, put it in one timeline, cut it the way I want in terms of layers and cutting back and forth, and then I just take that timeline and bring it into the main timeline, and it just comes in as one single piece of footage with all the cuts already inside of it. That's called nesting, and that allows, I mean, because otherwise, yeah, it's much more convenient on the main timeline to have just one piece of footage instead of stacked up all a bunch of layers on top, like you saw before, because then I'd have to raise up all this other footage up, and then the main timeline would be like 6, 7 layers of video, and you don't want that, because it gets hard to find things, it gets convoluted, and it's easy to scoop something over by mistake, and it's just annoying. Annoying is probably the biggest thing. And the most challenging thing with this was because we're using three different, totally different cameras, and so you don't ever use three different cameras for a 3-camera shoot unless they have very, very similar colors and looks to them. Because different cameras have different looks and the way they interpret colors and all that. You can get it as close as you can try, while you're shooting it, but by white balance and stuff. But even if all cameras are white balance to the same thing, or the same pixel white, if
the cameras could be interpret those colors totally different because we got one main camera and then a couple of DSLRs. But so in post, you want to try to match those colors as much as you possibly can. You can see I had to do a little bit of color correcting. And mostly with this, it wasn't so much the colors, it was the gamma. So the gamma in this camera, you can see how it's a lot brighter as opposed to the main camera. So you don't want to switch for the main camera and then go to this one and have the gamma is so much brighter on it. So I just tweaked a little bit, made that brighter, and I brought this down a little bit as much as I could, and then bring him up. So just try to, this camera right here is still going to be brighter, but it's all I could really do. I couldn't, because it was recorded just slightly too hot. No, it was okay. Let me take that back. It wasn't necessarily too hot. It's just that when I lean forward in a lot of shots, I'm closer to the light because our studio is our studio. I know it looks big right here, but it's tiny. That's tiny. That's like a little corner in the garage. So the lights are right up on us. So if I move back a little bit closer, then I get this hot spot on my head from the lights. See right there, it's much better. Like right there, yeah. Nice colors though. Nice colors. There's one spot that had a different color correction on. I need to try to find.
And I feel like
can we find a key? Can we track down someone who has a key to it, man? 2016 and find,
like they needed some entertainment. I don't know.
We get to stand where aliens were.
So I need to fix that shot. See how it's red? So I need to take this correction I did with this.
Yeah, and we get to stand where.
And then, because then when I took off that orange, it was too blue. So then it's a nice little balance there. And then I want to zoom in a little bit more and frame the shot a little better.
I want to go see what's inside.
Well, we get to stand where aliens were.
Well, I'm expecting at any moment they're going to say, wait a second, and change their mind.
Yeah.
I'm totally expecting this to fall through. Whoever we talk to.
I'll save this because my computer likes to crash every 20 minutes. Or should I say, Premiere likes to crash every 20 minutes. A lot of audio correcting on this. Some of the audio, unfortunately, was trash, and I did what I could to try to fix it. But it's bad. When we went out and recorded, unfortunately, the mic cable that attached the shotgun mic cable that attaches to the camera where we record all our audio, unfortunately, it was frayed going into the camera on the cord, and we didn't realize it. I guess it happened in the camera bag or whatever, and it just, when we were recording it, you get this sound. And just take a look, because supposedly that's where
I fixed it there to a degree, but the audio still, it's not that great. But you have to do what we can do. Yeah, it's JC Dunno. That's what it is.
of the pilots.
Right.
And he wasn't the only one. Even General Corso claimed that he'd seen the bodies at one point, even though he wasn't at Roswell. He had seen them later on. So you're getting testimony from distinguished people in the military saying, hey, we saw UFO craft, we saw the bodies.
Pretty neat, actually. I just want to find alien ghost. That's all. Just one alien ghost.
The reason actually that makes me think that it was something alien is because of the testimonies of the military personnel that were directly involved in this. That is the most convincing evidence, if you will, that it was alien, in my opinion, because these are people who would have known better.
Hold on a second. Let me look at something real quick here. Alright, I'm gonna attempt to do something here. Is that sarcasm? No, it's not wonderful. It's the opposite of wonderful. Alright. What I'm going to do, this is a photograph, an old photograph of Jesse Marcel with the wreckage. I just want to do something a little bit, I guess, visually interesting with it. I want to cut him from the background so I can animate it a little bit. So basically what I have is I have two layers, one the same picture, but the top layer is going to become the person and the back layer is going to become the background. So I'm just going to oh man, what I'm going to do here is just erase or cut him out basically. Let's be a little crude about it to get go. I'm editing for Chasing Unknown. Now, right now I'm just extracting. I'm far from a genius. I'm just extracting Mr. Marcel from his background. Just don't want to not too much. Hello, Scotland. Something like this, it's okay to have a little. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect with the outline. You just don't want to go too far in. This is the easy part. We'll do the hard part next. I do a little bit of guesswork right there where his head actually looks like because it's so dark. You focus on aliens only, or no? We go to different places, like whatever's interesting. And there we go. It's about right. That's close enough. All right. Oh, no. I had to fix that. So I think that's just shadow. All right. So I have that, and I still have the background. So I'll turn off that layer I just cut out. And this is the annoying part right here. Do a lot of clone stamping. Brush, take that hardness off. So basically, obviously, I'm just getting rid of the background here. Just need to do a little bit. I don't need to get rid of the whole background because he's going to be covering up some of the background still. So I don't need to concern myself with every bit of the background. Just enough so I can give it some movement, and you can tell. So I can take this and see how I can move it around just a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do. Hey, what's up, Thanos? But what I'll be doing is I'll be taking this and I'll be expanding it a little bit further out. So I just need to take a little bit of the background, just a little bit around. Not exactly accurate, but there we go. I think that's good enough. I think that'll be good enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this. Marcel Photoshop. And we're going to open up After Effects and we're going to animate it. Really? Maybe do a survey in the middle of working. Never show this shit again. Alright, you're gonna make me vote? You're not gonna let me continue without voting? I'm gonna put a fucking 0 then. I pay for editing. I pay for this editing software every month, and it's gonna make me do a fucking survey to move on to a different program. It's gonna force me to do a survey. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that. That's all I know. It's a little small little thing, but that's just annoying. Alright, so I've created project, and I'm going to bring in what we just did. Alright, it really sucks whenever what you're working with is in completely different dimensions than a normal composition. So let me just, now I'll just do that. I'll figure out what I'll use for the background. Alright. What I want to do is, I won't only want to animate the background for this initial ones, but I want the top layer to follow it, so I'll anchor the top layer to the bottom layer, and then now I'll animate this bottom layer. Scale position. And this is just a little trial error. I just want to see how I want to make this. Okay, that's good for an initial movement. And so as this is going, I'm going to have this new layer pop out. So about 2 seconds in, I'll have it come out here. I already see something I need to fix on the background, but we can go back and fix that. It's this line right here, because it's this line. It shouldn't be in both spots. So I'll erase it from this background. Actually, let me do that right now. As simple as that. Hit save, and then boom. That's easy enough whenever you fuck up, right? Alright, so let's animate this and see what it looks like. Alright, I can see a few slight mistakes. I don't want it to come out as much. see what that looks like. Bring it in a little bit more. Alright, we're going to put a little bit of an ease this animation. Ease out a little bit. Now I'm seeing a couple more things I need to fix real quick. I need to blacken that. Sometimes you don't know what you need to fix or what needs to be covered in the background until you actually animate it. So there we go. That's good enough. Now this part's going to be a little bit trickier. Layer 0. Gotta make sure I keep that layer 0. This is what it's this right here is showing. Actually, I don't need that much. Just that much. So I'm gonna copy, paste that. I'm gonna move this over here like that. That should be enough. It's a little bit darker than that. Smooth it out a little. That. That should be good. Go back, and then you see it's fixed. Sweet. Okay. I'll save this. Now what I'm going to do is duplicate this layer. And I'm going to put an effect on here called shine. Color shine. Actually, let me not do that real quick. There we go. Now it extends past everything. So what I want to do is I want to loose light. It's kind of just trying to give it a nice little effect here. Okay, that's screwed up. That's screwed up. I didn't attach this. Yeah, reattach it whenever you do a new layer like that. Okay, now I can put the shine on it. Alright, now it gives a nice little effect here. And so I want to take the overall opacity down. There we go, that looks good to me. I'm going to render this shit out. Gonna render it out.
something alien is because of the testimonies of the military personnel that were directly involved in this. That is the most convincing and would not make such an amateur mistake the way some backwoods yokel farmer might have. The fact that they kind of agreed and said, hey, this is not something that came from our world. Corroboration from
Head of intelligence for the entire base. It's his job. He's trusted.
was switched. That stuff was balloon wreckage that they put in place of the actual spacecraft debris.
And what I find just completely absurd is the fact that it required a general in another state to identify something that should have been obvious. That it required a general in another state.
Was switched. Were doing, and would not make such an amateur mistake the way some backwoods yokel farmer might have. The fact that they kind of agreed and said, hey, this is not something that came from our.
And that's why I'm going to put that picture I just made.
The famous photo of him holding the debris. Jesse Marcel claims that the famous photo of him holding the debris was switched. That stuff was balloon wreckage that they put in place of the actual spacecraft debris.
And what I find just completely
spacecraft debris.
And what I find.
There you go. Well, that worked for a few seconds with the footage.
Marcel claims that the famous photo of him holding the debris was switched. That stuff was balloon wreckage that they put in place of the actual spacecraft debris.
And what I find just completely absurd is the fact that it required a general in another state to identify something that should have been obvious to anybody in the position in which Colonel Blanchard and Jesse Marcel were in.
And Jesse Marcel's claim that the wreckage in the photo was actually switched has been backed up by Brigadier General Dubose.
For me, it's easier to believe that could happen or did happen than to disbelieve it. I mean, no one's more famous for trying to keep secrets in our government, right? It seems that way.
You know, we didn't get to see the crash site. We're standing out here in front of this.
Thank you, Dragon Ball.
locked up and now there's not a key in the entire building, now I definitely want to be in here. So I even tell the guy, I'm like, dude, you got a pair of bolt cutters? I will pay for a lock. I will give you the money to buy a brand new lock to put on there. And there's nothing special about the room now. It's a storage room. It's an empty room, actually. It's just, there were allegedly dead UFO bodies in here, or dead alien bodies in this room.
What do you think's in there?
I don't know. Super curious now, especially now that the key is most likely not on the premises. I'm like a kid when I can't have something I wanted even more.
The thing is, like, there's so much mystery and intrigue behind all this.
Yeah.
And then when it's like, oh yeah, you can get in. Oh, but
Yeah,
you can't.
that's
I'm just like,
that's exactly my point.
We wait around, they tell us they're not going to be able to let us in, and then all of a sudden, like swooping in like Superman, he comes in with the key. It's like, oh, found somebody who finally had the key. So they open this thing up.
There's a lot of unexplained incidents and phenomena that sometimes the military would like you to believe that they were responsible for it, but yet they have difficulty. There's a lot of unexplained incidents and phenomena. There's a lot of unexplained incidents and phenomena that sometimes the military would like you to believe that they were responsible for it, but yet they have difficulty explaining it.
You have military guys, pilots, airline pilots saying they see something. It's not all made up. That to me is almost it's if you think about it, it's more ridiculous than it being like a hoax. I mean.
Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, that's Frank. That's definitely Frank.
Bows.
For me, it's easier to believe that could happen or did happen than to disbelieve it. I mean, no one's more famous for trying to keep secrets in our government, right? It seems that way.
You know, we didn't get to see the crash site. We're standing out here in front of this hangar. Wow.
Looking at it from the outside.
Yeah,
Right.
like, okay, wow.
At this point,
it's
it almost
here.
seems like desperation. We're trying to salvage this trip as best we can, you know. But essentially, yeah, this is a bust. Billy though decides he's going to give him a call. Why, I don't know. I would have never done that.
Is there like any chance at all we could maybe come in and just look at the inside of the hangar?
From my point of view, Billy calls the number that's on the sign because now it's not an Air Force base anymore. Now it is a
it's a company that repairs airliners and different vehicles,
plane
and
parts
stuff.
and engine parts and things like that. Right. Billy calls it up, and I hear basically it was, "Hey, is this where they took the aliens when it crashed?" Oh, okay.
Like any chance at all we could maybe come in and just.
Never done that.
Is there like any chance at all we could maybe come in and just look at the inside of the hangar?
From my point of view,
never done that.
Is there like any chance at all we could maybe come in and just look at the inside of the hangar?
From my point of view, Billy calls the number that's on the sign because now it's not an Air Force base anymore. Now it is a
it's a company. Is there like any chance at all we could maybe come in and just look at the inside of the hangar?
From my point of view,
Is there like any chance at all we could maybe? Is there like any chance at all we could maybe come in and just look at the inside of the hangar?
From my point of view, Billy calls the number that's on the sign because now it's not an Air Force base anymore. Now it is a
it's a company that repairs airliners and different vehicles,
plane
and
parts,
stuff.
engine parts, and things like that. Right? Billy calls it up, and I hear basically it was, "Hey, is this where they took the aliens when it crashed?" Parts and things like that. Right?
It's a private.
Calls it up. And I hear basically it was, "Hey, is this where they took the aliens when it crashed?" "Oh, okay. Can we come in and take a look around?" "All right, I'll meet you there." I'm like, what the hell just happened here?
Maybe come into the hangar and just take a look, because supposedly that's where the alien bodies from the crash at Roswell were taken. So we're just kind of curious to see what the inside of it looks like and stuff. And
They even told us, they said, "You guys just caught the right person on the right day in the right mood."
okay, yeah, we'll get in right now and come around and try to find it. All right, thank you. I'm super excited.
In the right mood.
Okay, yeah, we'll get in right now and come around and try to find it. All right, thank you. I'm super excited, super stoked, because if there was actually aliens in this hangar, I want to go see what's inside.
Well, yeah, and yeah, we get to stand where aliens were.
Well, I'm expecting at any moment they're going to say, "Wait a second." You know
what? Maybe all the bosses were gone.
This is an undercover alien that we're talking to. Realizes we know too much.
You finally found it. We're here, so now come on in.
UFOs, aliens.
This is pretty impressive.
Literally pulled up to the front gates and called them, and we're like, "Hey, we're some idiots on YouTube. Can we come check out where the alien was stored?" And they were just like, "Yeah, go ahead."
And you know what? And I was worried the whole time that they were secret aliens and they were just gonna throw us in alien jail.
You know, the fact that we got access to something like this, this is in the history books, you know? This is pretty impressive. I'm very excited and happy.
That was one of the most awesome things about it, was everybody here was cool as hell. Like every single person.
Did coming here increase or decrease or keep the same the level in which you believe the lore of what happened?
I don't think it really swayed me either way. I do think that it was just cool and gave me a fuller understanding, a fuller...
So here's something else I need to do. That's easy to do on doing something like this. Is okay, so I don't know how easy it is to see on your guys' end, but right up here there's a mic that's in frame that's really bugging me, and I wanna Photoshop that out. And since it's a still shot and nothing, like nobody goes past this area right here, I can easily just create a little layer to go over that. Call this mic hide. Oops. Okay. No, I'll actually it'll be easy. Relatively easy anyway. So all I need to do is really just go here. I did a still frame, and I'm just going to make a layer from background. Basically kind of do the same thing I did before with that other stuff. But I'm going to just, oops, wrong tool. It's going to be so dark up here, and that's a good way. That's good because it kind of hides everything. Need that tool to be a little bit more hard. Alright, and for this, all I'll do is I'll get a little section on here. The lighting more than likely is going to be slightly different. See, yeah, see that? See how it's different color? Just that subtle little change there. But that's okay, we can fix it. I'm just going to, oops. Get that hard edge off of it. Damn. Make it a bigger piece. There we go. It's better. Take that hard edge off of it. A little soft eraser on it. And now I want to go brightness and up the brightness a teeny bit. Contrast a little bit. Alright, that's close enough to where no one would ever notice. I'll merge all those layers together, and then what I'm going to do is a little bit of a little screwed up spot right there, and then right there. And that is what's good to go. I don't like how that's light right there, so I'm going to just darken that a little bit. There we go. Now, so what I'm going to do now is erase. Oops, that's too much. Erase all of that. Everything except what's up in that corner. I gotta make sure that everything's erased from this, or else you're gonna see artifacts in the actual footage. And now I'm gonna save that as a PNG, so I can have the transparent background. Mic hide PNG. Save. I go back to Premiere. I find my little file I just made. So what I'm going to have to do is all of this, I'm going to have to move it up a layer. And then all it is, I take my mic hide, put it right on top of the old, or the main footage, and there you go. It's gone. So I'm going to turn it on and off. See up there at the top. On, off, 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 on, off.
Smell that for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'd rather feel his radiating crotch. Are you recording?
Okay, so.
And I'll just have to make sure.
I've heard about Roswell.
Because right there you can see where I didn't erase it far enough down, so it's getting his head. But right there, that's nothing. That's no footage that's going to actually be used. You know what? Let me just go ahead and fix it anyway. What am I doing? Because I know it's going to. That's going to annoy me at some point. Alright, that should fix it. Save. Save over the other one. And then that should be fixed. It's fixed. So there you go. Now don't worry about it. Alright, take it easy, Punti.
Fuck. Okay. Alright.
Yeah, it'd be fucked up if he raised his hand in that area, but he doesn't do that, so that's. So I don't have to worry about it. If something passed over it, you'd have to rotoscope it out, animate it.
Okay. So
but something like this is simple. That's why I did it. If it was going to be a whole lot of work, I would have just left it. It's not even worth it. But it was just kind of one of those things that was just bugging me. It's a nuisance. But it's not really that big of a deal. That's something I could easily fix in 10 minutes. Then yeah, why not?
So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to the crash site, and that's one thing, this sort of thing, and we like to explore and see what we can find.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Let's get a cut on everything.
Oh man,
this is already derailed.
It explodes off.
Yeah, what are you talking
It's a John Candy movie where they're like camping out in this log cabin and there's this bear and they fucking shoot it and the ass fur just fucking explodes off of it and it looks like a human ass.
Halen was like 3 years old. He couldn't stop laughing.
Couldn't
He
stop
wanted to see
laughing.
it again and again.
Oh man.
This is already derailed.
My face hurts.
Oh man. All right, look. Let's face it.
I get where we were going. Problem is, it's private property, and the guy who owns the property, everybody said this, he shoots first, asks questions later.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely not willing to have a buckshot in my ass. Enough for a guy like me. Like, you tell me you're going to show me,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Coffins serve one purpose. So, if they're calling for coffin,
See, this was all shot, actually reshot and re-edited. The first version of this episode was like 23 minutes long. The new version's like 34, 35 minutes long. This is old. This is the old footage. I've been working on this for like 4 months off and on, like I said, just when I got some spare time. And I just didn't like the way this version turned out. So we reshot the studio stuff.
And I don't think there's anything alien related in there, obviously. But if this is where the bodies were stored, how cool is it to stand in there, right?
Yes, absolutely.
The audio was terrible too. One of the mics weren't working.
Towards the fact that this was legitimately an alien crash was the military aspect, the military personnel that came forward and talked about what they saw and what they experienced. You know, these are people who would know the difference between a weather balloon and something they'd never seen before. Say shut up, Timothy, because
Right.
he was always saying something dumb at the time. He was just a kid.
Always.
And I was mid-sentence, shut up, Tim, and I saw and I was like, whoa. I was like, what is that? This thing was big enough and low enough to where, and it was nighttime, but the city lights kind of illuminated the sky a little bit. So this thing
was like, hey, is this the old hangar where they took the aliens after the Roswell crash? Well, do you mind if we come in and take a look? Click. All right, let's go. Someone's gonna meet us down there. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, actually, we'll get in right now and come around and try to find it. All right, thank you.
So Billy gets off the phone and he says, we're good, we're going in. I'm kind of stunned at this point, you know, totally wasn't expecting this.
This is an under.
I've actually seen those unsealed alien files. Yeah. Yeah, they're really good.
Any chance at all we could maybe come in and just look?
So I saw that one special where they analyzed the telegram of the guy saying it was nothing, and they picked up other words on the telegram in that photo with enhancement and modern technology to show that maybe there was something.
For me, it's easier to believe that could happen or did happen than to disbelieve it. I mean,
Well, let's say later, man. Later, Stefan. Oh, Stefan, I think I sent you out a package. I think I sent your package out like a week or two ago. Okay, actually, on this, I'm kind of at a standstill because I'm waiting on a couple of graphics that MC's working on to insert them in, and then once that, I can wrap everything up. So I think I'm gonna end this here. Go grab something to eat, and then maybe work on a little bit tonight. Hopefully I'll get what I need. But yeah, this is almost done. I would say it'll be this month. I want to put up a Toy Chasers first before this, but it'll definitely be this month when this thing goes up. So I don't have much to do. Yes, we'll do a Skype call soon, Dean. No, I really don't have much else to do on this until I get what I need. So I'm at a standstill. MC for Melbourne's working on a UFO composite of what they saw, and a few more little graphics that I need to insert. And then once I insert those, I can actually start putting in the music and stuff, and then it'll be done. So, all right, I will talk to you guys later. thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. And we will, you'll get to see this final product on Patreon pretty soon. You know what? Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll put it up on Patreon probably, honestly, probably a week or two before it actually goes up live anywhere else. So yeah, anyway, I look forward to that, I guess, if you're into this. So take care, guys.